Hi, I'm Daniel Robinson, and this is Plumpy Thimble. The funny thing about playing a lot of games and reviewing games is occasionally, every now and then, you get this crazy idea that you might want to participate in the actual act of making a game. Now, this is a difficult process. Coming up with a game idea is pretty easy. It's a dime a dozen. The difficult part is coming up with a prototype and coming up with stuff that actually works and getting it out there and having people play test it and having different ideas and people point out the problems with your game. It's not just throwing together an idea. There's a ton of different steps that you need to take if you decide to go on to this endeavor. It's one that I've considered myself and have even tossed around some ideas and put together prototypes. So what we're looking at today is a little bit different than what we normally do. It is Wingo Games Designer Kit. Now what this is it's a box of potential components. It's a box of stuff. It is a designer's kit. I mean, that's about as simple as you can get with it. It's a kit, it's a box designed for people that are wanting to make their own board game, and it helps you get ideas out. It shows you kind of what some of the manufacturing standards are, what you can put on the sides of the box, and so that's what we're looking at today. Wingo has created this kit as sort of a catalyst for game designers to use to put together prototypes and just to get a feel for what is sort of the industry standard. Now, I briefly looked through everything in this box, and I want to point out that this is not going to be something that we can review as a game. However, it's definitely an interesting little thing because it's not going to have absolutely everything you've got. You may have a game idea in your head, and this is not going to contain the components that you're going to need for that. What it is, though, is it's a really good little idea as a set of guidelines. You know, you're restricted to what's in this box. What kind of game can you make out of what comes in this box? Now, there's a lot of different good things in here, and people can use them in a lot of different ways. But using this as a catalyst for, you know, what kind of game can I make in the confines of whatever's in this box? I think that's really where the value in this comes in that you're limiting yourself. People do different game design challenges. You know, people will challenge themselves to make a game in 18 cards, you know, with just 18 cards, or just a deck of 52 cards, or make a game that, you know, is just a roll and write, something that you can print and play pretty easily. And that's great because it gets your creative mind thinking. You know, you've got to come up with an idea within the confines and restrictions of having just limited resources. And I think that's where this is going to shine. You can certainly use it to design a game that's already in your head, but when you open this up and you see what's in here, you can you can get the wheels turning on what can I make within the confines of this box. How people use this is completely up to them, and I think that's the cool part about this. But let's open it up, take a look at what's inside, and you can see for yourself.
The first thing you're going to notice about this box is that it doesn't have any specific pictures or anything on it, but it's got a lot of different information on where you would put graphics, rules, or descriptions if you were to fully publish a game. I mean, every inch of this box has hints and tips on where you would put stuff and what you would put there. So you open it up and there's even more information on where to put stuff. And it even says when something's underutilized, and it's something you might want to think of if you're thinking about fully producing a game. The first thing in the box that you open up is the small board that comes with it. Now obviously, because this is such a small little kit, it's not going to have every instance of what you might use, but it's got a pretty good spread on this little board. So it's got a map area, it's got a resource area, spots to put cards. Again, just a blank canvas to put your ideas down and to maybe limit what you're going to be doing. Now, something that I was really surprised by was this designer's guide, and this is really, I think, one of the most valuable tools in this kit. It's a book between you and the manufacturer. So if you are considering manufacturing a game, you are going to want to read through this book because it gives you information on art files, on box types, on what things are going to look like. Information on the legal markings you might want to put on the box, different options to make things cheaper, to make things more high quality, and ideas on what it's going to cost. It's chock full of tips, it's chock full of information on the different types of similar components that you might be wanting to put into your box, whether it be minis, whether it be cardboard stand-ups, whether it be different qualities of cards, because that's going to cost you money. And if you are just doing this from a design standpoint, maybe some of this won't be beneficial to you. But if you're going into this thinking, I would like to pitch this to a publisher, these are the types of things that they are going to have in mind. So if you want plastic miniatures, bear in mind that's going to be far, far more expensive than something that uses a cardboard stand-up. Again, this was the real surprise for me, was that little handbook. The box also comes with these cardboard chits that you can use. They're, again, just components that you can model different things after. So when you're putting together a prototype or you're using this as a creative tool, you have many options here to go. So you've got the little cardboard stand up there. There's some stands. There's a plastic stand in the box as well. They even include a small plastic miniature of that cardboard stand up, so you can decide what you want to do. Comes with a couple dice. Roll very nicely, isn't that nice? And then there's the plastic miniature that I was talking about. Let's see if we can get a good look at him there. But again, just to see some of the quality differences. They also throw in a few meeples. So if you want to make a two-player game, looks like you got a couple colors there. And as well as some plastic cubes that you can use however you'd like. They even throw in a metal coin, because a lot of games nowadays use metal coins, and really that's more of an aesthetic thing than anything else, but it's a pretty cool idea. The last thing in the box here is this small tuck box. Now, if you were to make a game that is just playing cards, this is almost like a small subset extra thing for you here. Just like the main box, it's got ideas on where to put stuff, it's got ideas on where to put particular graphics, what types of graphics to put there, and what type of information you would want to put on just a tuck box if you were, say, making a card game. It's a pretty cool idea, but when you open it up, instead of having a full deck of cards like you might expect to see, instead you get 4 different samples of different types of cards, including one variation in card size. Actually, there's a larger set as well, but it also has tips on there on how you might use these cards, what you would want to keep in mind when you do so. And then for the larger cards, there's 3 different types of quality. So you can open these up, you can physically see what the different types of card stock are, or different types of options are when you're creating either a card game or considering components for your finished game. It's a really, really neat idea, because this kit just packs in so many different components in such a small little package that it will really get you thinking regardless of where you're at with the game prototype. You spread everything out here and you've got everything you need to get going on this project, on whatever that game project may be in your mind, or even if you haven't considered it, it's a fun little project that you can take and say, what can I make out of this game? And what you've got here isn't a game yet, but it eventually could be, and it's something that's really unique and really pretty cool.